Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Luba.
My name is Stryker.
And today we have a special guest with us. His name is David. And little teaser, this guy found the secret of success. He now engaged, but we want to go all the way back and discuss with him how did he find hard rocket, what happened to him, and how he ended up getting engaged with a Ukrainian lady. Hello, David.
Hello, Luba. Hello, Stryker. How are you guys?
We're good. Thank you for joining us today to share your story.
Glad to be here.
Okay, wonderful. And we want to ask you first question that we always ask. Like when we have a call, we ask the question, what would you like to achieve by the end of this call? I think that you already achieved what you was looking for, but now I want to ask you, how did you find about us?
I was sitting at lunch one day and watching YouTube videos, and one of Stryker's very early videos just happened to randomly pop up when he was documenting his journey. And I had some previous experience about 20 years ago with the mail catalogs that you guys did a video about. I had met a Russian lady in graduate school. She gave me a catalog 20 some years ago. And I always, in the back of my mind for the last 25 years, had wondered, maybe I should have gone that route. When Stryker's video popped up, I'm like, oh man, I got to watch this, and watched it, and one video led to another, and then just found Heart Rocket that way.
So that's how you met Heart Rocket. That is nice. And tell us a little bit about the process. Like, so for example, like you saw our video, and let's say like there's guys who know us watching this video and guys who are the first time on our channel. So what was the process? You were thinking about like, Eastern European lady, you found the video, and what was the next process? Like which steps did you took?
For me personally, I decided to it took me about 2 weeks. I watched every single video that you had produced. I wanted to make sure that I, wasn't going to get scammed. And I was so impressed with the message was just consistent over 300 plus videos over 3 or 4 years. All my philosophies and views on dating and everything I'd experienced aligned very well with everything you and Stryker had said. So after I watched all the videos, then I got on the website, booked the call, and here I am.
Okay, that's cool. I remember our first call very much. So you signed up with us, and I don't remember what happened. Like you started having a calls, or the first experience that you have, it was a Zoom party.
So I was pretty lucky in that I think within about 2 weeks after I signed up, you had scheduled a Zoom party. So I was invited to that. I attended that. At the same time, I was also going through the database looking at the profiles of the ladies, and I had sent you a list of, I don't know, 5 or 6 ladies, which you were working on contacting those ladies. But within about 2 weeks, I had my first Zoom party, and that was, I guess, so successful. You had another one, I'm going to say 3 or 4 weeks later, I was invited to that one too.
And you got a package of 6 or 12 dates?
I chose 12. I firmly agree and believe that, as Stryker says, it's a game of numbers. So I wanted to give myself the best chance of success. That meant meet as many people as possible.
Because this question we got pretty often, and the guys say, oh, like, I think 6 would be enough for me. And we, like, I know that we were the one who put this package that we are probably taking off now, because we just see that the guy feel more relaxed and more confident when he have more dates, more options, and he doesn't need to worry that, after date number 5, it will be over. So you sent me a list of ladies, and there was a Zoom parties, and so tell a little bit about what happened at the Zoom party with you, and also in general, like how many calls you had, and like how was the communication with the ladies, like how was the dates arranged, like how was communication afterwards, what were the difficulties, if you can share.
So Yeah, I think the list of ladies that I had sent you, the 4 or 5, I think none of those ladies wound up being available or interested. I had the first Zoom party. After that, I believe I had 4 matches, and we had exchanged numbers with 4 ladies. The second Zoom party, I want to say there was another 4 or 5 matches of potential interest. So within a month, I was speaking with, I think, 9 ladies at one time. There was another lady that you had recommended to me that you thought would be a good match that was not related to a Zoom party. I was speaking with her also. I'm sorry, what was the rest of the question?
Yeah, so you spoke with the 9 or 10 ladies, and it was difficult, right? Like the communication was.
I would not say it was difficult. The only challenging issue was because of the time difference. They are all going to bed about the same time, about 10, 11 p.m. their time, which is about 3 to 4 p.m. my time. So there was about an hour in the afternoon around 3, 4 o'clock. My phone would just
Good night, good night, good night. Good night.
Yeah, it would just explode with messages from all of them. So, I was very busy for an hour trying to respond. And then the next morning, when I would wake up, of course, it's already shortly after lunch for them. There was one morning, I think I had like 65 messages from the 8 or 9 ladies. Some of the ladies you're just not going to hit it off with, even though you might have a great Zoom party. There was 2 or 3 that one of their very first questions was, "When are you coming to see me?" And I said, we just met. We've only talked for an hour. We need to get to know each other a little bit first. And within 2 or 3 days, they kind of just quit communicating. So it started out, 8 or 9 ladies, but it pared down to 4 or 5 very quickly. And then after a while, it just naturally is going to, it's just naturally going to kind of go to a manageable number, I would guess, of 3 or 4 that are really serious interest from both sides. And I wouldn't say interest, I would say more the chemistry part of it. There's interest in all of them right away on both sides, but you have to have that chemistry part. And the chemistry will kind of weed out the ones that you just don't have chemistry with.
Dave, can I ask you a question? So in regards to what you're talking about there, you know that one of our strategic moves is to speak with multiple women at the same time, right? So we're probably the only marriage or dating agency out there that would say, we want you to speak to multiple women at the same time. And the reason that we do this is that you can compare all the women to each other to see which ones are going to be more responsive, which ones are going to be more interested in you. Do you think when you say that there's chemistry, do you think that plays a part in it? Let me put it another way. So if you're only speaking to one woman, do you think that you may be looking for chemistry somewhere where there is not? Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. I think if you kind of like your one-itis concept that you talk about, if you're only speaking to one lady, you're going to look for chemistry that's not there. You're going to read positive emotions from them into their messages that may not be there. You're going to interpret things they say in a lot more positive manner when they might not have mean it that way. Without a doubt, the more ladies you can talk to reasonably, obviously, I think 50 or 60 at one time would be a little much, but it is truly a game of numbers. And I went into this knowing my goal was to find the best match for me, and the more ladies that I could meet, the better. And that my previous relationships here in the U.S. over the last years, my marriage and everything, that has taught me and reinforced that you cannot focus on one person too early and get one-itis too early. You're going to start overlooking red flags or minimize red flags and overemphasize small positive qualities, and you're going to start compromising on what you want. So it's very critical to talk to several ladies. Absolutely.
Guys, just want to clarify for you a little bit about the Zoom party. So this is an event that we hold on Zoom that is available for our client and for the guys who did a call with us. Event where you have chance within like 2 or 3 hours to be able to connect with multiple ladies. So it's event where like usually 5, 7 guys and maybe 10, 15, 20 ladies. And within 2, 3 hours, you have chance to introduce yourself. You have chance to ask questions, to just like joke around and have a good time. And we don't do that as a like actual matchmaking process, but we just understand that when people are not like focused, that it is just like it's a date, I need to be like I have an anxiety, like they actually feel more relaxed, and we getting some results such as
think of it as a think of it as a little party that we put on digitally over Zoom that you're invited to.
And I'm an MC, so I'm trying my best. Okay, and little after like maybe 1 month or 2, right? You decided to travel to Europe to meet with a lady.
I think it was somewhere between 6 to 8 weeks after my first initial Zoom party. I had, decided to travel to Europe to meet her. It was a short planned trip. I bought my tickets, and 2 weeks later I was over there. It was not I'm going to say, well-planned trip. I wanted to go just be spur of the moment. I had some ideas of things I wanted to do, but I did not have every day planned out to the T. I got over there, we met, and we hit it off, connected almost literally instantly. Now, I will say we had very good communication the 6, 8 weeks before. My communication with her over Viber was probably some of the best communication in terms of a deeper level of our views and philosophies on life. It wasn't just superficial, hi, how are you doing? Have a good day. I mean, there was that, but it was, we really talked a lot about our views and goals in life. We even decided to read a book together. Right, so during our first 6 weeks of talking about our views and philosophies on life and self-improvement things we were both doing, we both identified a book we had both wanted to read. So I went out, purchased the book, and we'd read a chapter a night and then talk about it the next day and what we learned. So we had a very good connection, as much as you can over.
Even though like her English level was not that high, right?
It was a very good basic level. She can have good conversations about very simple subjects. When I spent my time with her, we did not really use the translator that much unless we were, I guess, kind of having more in-depth conversations. But she understands a lot more than what she can speak.
Okay.
It was more common for her to use the translator to reply to me, but she could understand a lot of what I was saying, a good portion of it.
That's great. I think but I know that she was very motivated, and also the little problem that she got, like she was learning the whole year, she was learning German, right? And so for sure, it was a big confusion because all of these ladies at the moment, they are living in Europe and who learn German, who learn Italian, Spanish, whatever. And so their English level goes a little bit down, but I think with the time of your communication, it get back. Like, I think that she improved it.
Yes, it does. And she would occasionally respond to me in German. And I, of course, realized it was not, Russian or Ukrainian. And I knew it was German, and we would laugh about it. She would realize what she was doing. And it was a source of humor for us.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so what happened next? You came to Switzerland and...
Yes, so I traveled there, spent 2 or 3 weeks there. Switzerland is just an incredible place. Even in January, February, It's just an incredible place to visit. It's so beautiful. It's hard to not have a good time there. We traveled around Switzerland. It's very small, so we went to a lot of other cities. We, about halfway through the trip, decided to take about a 3-day road trip. Drove all the way down to the coast. Went to Milan, Italy, down to the coast. That was just an incredible trip. One, for the perspective of just seeing Italy and Europe, and then watching her, how she behaves and enjoyed herself, and it was a lot of fun. We made a very short trip, just barely into France one day, and also to Germany. But we spent most of the first 2/3 of the time traveling around, driving around to other cities, and then about the last week we spent just in her hometown. I met several of her friends. We had dinner, just kind of getting more introduced to her life there.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. And I know, yeah, you told me like every day was different pictures, different like videos. And I very appreciate that we were staying in touch with you. That is something that we always tell our guys to do, like to stay in touch with us, to like ask the questions, like, because there can be some confusion. One of the funniest questions that I got from you, like there was a lot, and like guys, it's not funny like in a way that I was making fun of you, but it was something that I didn't expect. And so by the end of the tour, David were asking me, he said, Luba, do you think it's okay if I sharp your knives? And I'm like, sharp your knives? Like maybe there's something metaphorical or something that I don't know. And the next thing that I get, it was the video from her when you actually take away your belt for some reason. And you're sharpening your knives. So what happened? Like, how was interaction? I know that she introduced you to her family from the very first trip. How was that interaction? She has a lot of brothers and a lot of family there. And how was the interaction? And how did you end up sharpening your knives?
I'll start with the knife. Yeah, towards the end of the trip, we were in her apartment trying to cook dinner, and I was trying to cut bread or something with a knife, and it was worse than a butter knife. It was so dull. Of course, she had no tools to sharpen it. So the next day, which was naturally a Sunday, when almost everything was closed, I did find a garden center that had it wasn't the best stone for sharpening knives, but it worked. So it was like $3. So I bought the stone, went back to her apartment, sharpened the knife as best I could. And then the reason I use my belt is it's used in a process called stropping. It's kind of a finishing technique when you sharpen the knives, but
okay.
Everybody
know why you take off your belt. I just mentioned that for the guys so they know, but it's
yeah.
okay, you know, like this is you can keep the secret.
Yeah, no, they can look up what stropping is, but that's why I took off the belt. And the knife was nowhere near what I would consider sharp, but it was light years ahead of what it was.
She fell in love, and like this video,
yeah.
she was like, she sent me, she was like zooming it in and out, and she's like, girls, just look, what is he doing? And like, here's the flowers, and like, belt, and I'm like, okay. And then it's like again, like, look, and she can't, like, she just like, that's all.
Yeah.
You guys asking like how to make the lady fall in love? Sharp your knife.
Well, what it is there is it's not that the fact that you were sharpening a knife, it's the fact that you saw a problem that she had. And I guarantee you that she knew that knife was garbage, that she couldn't cut anything with it.
Yep.
She doesn't know how to fix it. She doesn't know anything except go and buy another knife. That's just the way that women think. It's broken, buy another one. Something doesn't work, buy another one. And you came along and you fixed it. And for her, that was something impressive. It was a man, saw a problem of hers, and you just went and you solved it. And that is extremely powerful.
Yeah, and that is what we tell, you know, to the guys, and we say like, don't. It's not about like, you know, money or something. It's this actually like $3 like actually made this like huge difference that you're that.
Yeah, if you went and bought a knife, I guarantee you she wouldn't have taken a photo and sent it to Luba. If you just went to
and now, actually, it's a bet. You know, I told him like it's funny that he's then asked me if he can sharpen the knife, because if he would buy the knife, it would be not a very good, like, because it was at the end of his trip. And in Ukraine, you know that we are crazy superstitious, and so to get a knife, it's really bad. I would tell you no. Okay, so and she
really quickly on that same day, she also had one of her doors on her cabinets that the hinge was out of adjustment and it was hitting the other opposite door. So the door would not close completely. So I also adjusted that. Wasn't as big a
If you
deal
need
as
some advice, I will give you David's phone number. He can
He
consultate you
just,
online.
after that, he did an oil change on her car, and then he like chopped the firewood, and then he neutered the dog or the cat.
Yeah, it is really amazing though. Like you say, just simple things like that make a huge difference in their life.
Yeah.
Especially, there's something about sharpening knives. Like the girl can polish her nails all day long, with this horrible sound that any man can stand by. But the lady cannot sharpen the knife because this sound is like, for some reason, is horrible, even though it's almost the same. But anyway, so now you know, guys, the secret of sharpening the knives and polishing the nails. Incredible. And what happened next? So, I truly believe that, when things are happening, they're happening, right? So you said, okay, now I want you to visit my country, right?
Oh, yes, the US, yes. So at the end of my trip, we had already talked and said, okay, I'd like you to come over to the US and see my life and make sure it's something that you can handle. We had talked about getting her a visa. I wish in retrospect we would have started that process a day or so earlier and I could have helped her a lot easier. As it turns out, she had to do that all on her own. She did get some help from a friend, but it also, I guess, was a good test for me to see how really serious she was and capable she was to do something and complete a task. So she wound up getting her visa. I think it took her about a week of just her time applying. Having the time in her schedule to go down and fill out the forms and interview. When she had submitted her application, she was given an interview date for, I think, a month later. 2 days later, she was in there interviewing. They had bumped up her time, and within like a week, within a week of her starting her process, she had her visa. It was approved for 10 years, and it was just, I guess, apparently unheard of to get it that quickly.
Yeah. That is really like, she was just very, very motivated, and you too. And so what happened, she applied for the visa, she filled the documents, and then like when she paid the fee, I think it was what, $160 or 200?
160, 170, yes, right in that neighborhood.
$106 she paid for the application. She filled the touristic visa to go. And then when you pay, you can choose the date when you can go to the interview. And so what happened is that she picked, and like David really wants her to come in March, but the first, like the closest date, I think it was 10th of April or 10th of even May. I don't remember. And so
correct. Yeah. While she was going through the process, she would ask me questions about what do you think I should put down for this question, and I would contact you, and you would say, "Well, let me talk to her. I've got some ideas." And I definitely cannot give you enough credit. You were very instrumental in your ideas and brainstorming your ideas to help her with some of the questions.
I'm just the person who got denied 3 times for American visa, more than anybody. I have a pretty good example. But yes, we were dealing with Nataly. We were trying to we had a plan. I don't really want to talk about this plan there, but like she got the visa. This was the most important, and like we always help our guys and advise them when they ask for these questions. But what is interesting that she was so motivated and so determined to do that I just told her, just check availability every day. I didn't literally mean every day, because she applied on 22nd of February, like she actually paid, and she make an appointment for April or May. And then I said, check it every day, or 21st. And maybe like somebody will cancel their appointment because sometimes people don't have enough documents, or maybe they can't make it. And so maybe you will have time earlier. And so she called me and she said, like, appointment is on 24th. I said, really? Like, it's impossible. So she went there. And, I know her feeling. Like when she called me, she was like crying, and she say like, Luba, like I don't know, like the universe is just like very great, not grateful, very generous to me, and you just changed my life and for me and David, because like literally at the very same time, exactly a year ago, before 24th of February 2023, a year ago, the same day, she was crossing the border, leaving Ukraine from the war, and she completely settled her life in Switzerland. She started working, she has an apartment, she has a successful career. She was very, very like good, she had a very good living there in Switzerland. And then she say, now I'm just like, I'm following my dream. I met the guy that I want. And what is interesting, that I don't know if I told you, when she registered and when we introduced her to you, like before she spoke with you one-on-one, she said, Luba, I really, like, I'm telling you the truth, like I really, really want to find a man, but my life in Switzerland is so good here that I don't even know like what kind of man should I meet, like what should happen that I will change it. And I said, what do you mean? She said, I was absolutely shocked. My life in Ukraine was fine, was great. I have my car, I have my apartment, my parents, family, everything is there. And so I left and I got nothing. And so I completely rebuilt my life in 1 year in Switzerland. And so it's so good. Like the country is amazing and everything. But I like what I'm lacking is like relationship. I'm lacking this man in my life that I dream to be with. And she repeated twice, like, I don't know like what kind of man should I meet that I will give up this in Switzerland. And when actually like she got this visa, until the moment that you proposed and she said yes, I was like this is happening, like this is the man, and like this is life, this is the destiny. So I just gave a little teaser what happened, but she got her visa, and little later after, you got tickets for her and she came to you.
Yes, I think the day that I learned she got her visa, I bought tickets. My goal was to have her come over as absolutely soon as possible. I knew her schedule was free, and it was a good time for me also to have her come over. I think 2 weeks after she got her visa, she was landing in Chicago. Yes, of all places, Chicago.
No, it would not be David. It would not be David if he would not surprise her even there. I will tell a little story. So, final destination. The lady, absolutely normal, like flying, very tired, very tiring flight. Flying to Chicago. In Chicago, when you fly into United States, the first airport, the first big airport that you're entering, then you need to pick up your luggage. You need to get out, go through the control, and then like you use a domestic terminal or domestic flights. So within US it's different. And so this gentleman he bought himself this ticket to his destination, but he decided, why would she wait for me 5 hours? I would meet her in Chicago. So he get there, like she was just absolutely shocked, and she of course didn't expect, but like he was very, very prepared. Like he makes sure that yes, she will leave that door, like she will go there, so to not miss her. And what was her reaction?
She was very surprised. She was a little stunned. I think it took her a couple seconds to realize that I was standing there. Yeah, she was very happy. I think relieved that she did not have to sit in an airport and then take a connecting flight.
Yeah. Also, what I want to say about this trip, like you will tell about how your feelings were developing if you want, and like how you introduced her to your family and friends at this point. But like you sent me an incredible itinerary of your weeks together. Like that was just like so impressive. I don't know, maybe he was trying to make me jealous, and I did, because like that was incredible. Like everything were planned. And this is, guys, what we always talk about. We say make a plan, just be prepared. Like playing something like, oh, okay, today we're gonna do this. It is also possible, but if you have a plan, it's so much easier, right? Like I think that you changed something. Not everything went by your plan, but in general, you.
Correct. Yeah. When I went to Europe, I had general idea of what I wanted to do, but it was not planned day by day because I didn't know how, things were going to go. I didn't know about the weather. I'd never been there before, so I wanted to be flexible. Of course, here in the U.S., on your home turf, you can control things a lot better. You know what to expect. We did a lot of traveling. We saw probably 2/3 of the United States in the 3 weeks that she was over here. And again, I had, other than some airline tickets and hotels here in the United States that I had planned down to the day, I kept it a little fluid and had a little flexibility in there because meeting my parents and my friends, I had to accommodate their schedules. So I had a lot better idea of timetables here in the U.S., but it was a lot better planned, and it was a great trip. I got to help her fulfill several of her dreams of visiting California, of course, Vegas, baby. And she got to run on the beach. It was one of her things she always wanted to do. So it was a great time.
Yeah, that is great. So later on a little bit, you were like almost by the end of the trip, you decided that you need to know the size of your ring. Yes, guys, if you're following our Telegram channel and you think, who was that guy who was using that unusual tool for measuring the finger, it was him. So, and it was for measuring the finger.
They were digital calipers.
Oh, we have an idea
Yes.
of a coil of everything. So while she was sleeping, and obviously you decided to propose to her. I were helping to choose your ring. It was also interesting.
Yes, I of course spoke with Luba quite a bit about, do I pick a ring or do I let her pick it out? Because in the U.S., I know it's more common for ladies to pick their own ring out. Kind of what's standard procedure for Ukraine. So Luba said, "Oh, you should pick out the ring," and I wasn't worried about that. It was just more try to get the size right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I devised a way to try and estimate the size of her finger. Of course, went and purchased the ring. I had told her we need to go for my business. I need to travel about an hour and a half away to look at some equipment and property. It was just an incredibly beautiful scenic drive. I didn't know it. I'd never been down that path before, but we got there. It was a waterfall with an old water mill, one of those big water wheels. We had some problems getting there because the bridge was washed out because of a large rain a couple of days before. So I had to take a big detour. I put on a little show that I acted like I was frustrated and a little upset. She had no clue what was happening. We got over there, and I kind of distracted her, like, "Oh, hey, look at that deer over there."
And I need to put and he distracted and he said, like, I need to put my phone there to take a photo. It was obviously to make a picture for Mama Luba. Okay, and Stryker.
So I staged my camera on the car to get a good video. She was standing there by the waterfall. I kind of pointed off in distance. "Oh, look at that deer." She turned around. Of course, I pulled the ring out of my pocket, knelt down, and she turned around, and there I am, "Will you marry me?" And she just was blown away, of course. She said yes, and it was, then after about 10 seconds, she realized that I had tricked her the whole time. But she laughed. It was a great time. I had already had dinner reservations that evening. She told me after the fact, she heard me make the dinner reservations and she was expecting a proposal at dinner. So she knew something was happening, but the timing of it, I caught her off guard. So it worked out really well.
Okay, that is incredible. Like, it's just great. And everything so far so good. Next week, I'm going to the bachelorette party that she's arranging, and she's a wonderful lady with a lot of friends. And we all meet up in Italy. And shortly after that, I think that she's flying to see you and stay with you.
Yes. So she's allowed to be here 6 months out of 12 months, my understanding. She was already here for 3 weeks. So we have about 5 months for her to come over here. She should hopefully be here right now. Looks like about the 1st of July and be here for 5 months. And, assuming everything goes well, we will look at getting married, towards the end of that 5 months. I've already contacted a immigration lawyer, again, another great recommendation from Luba, where I will ask the questions about, if we get married while she's over here, how does the visa process change? And so I can kind of be working on that.
That's wonderful. So, it is working out, right? Like it was not the easiest way, but it was pretty, like you managed that to do, like to work. So what would you tell to the guys who are thinking about doing that? Like, should they?
I would say without a doubt, absolutely, you should do it, and you should do it sooner rather than later. I just watched the video a couple days ago. Stryker mentioned if you're going to do it in 5 years, that 5 years is going to pass anyway. What's going to happen in 5 years? I can say that after the second or third Zoom call, I knew that I would never, ever be able to date any women in the U.S. It became obvious to me that either I'm going to find someone, a lady from Ukraine, or I'm going to stay single. I can't go to the gym or anywhere in the U.S. and look at women the same at all. It's amazing.
Yeah, that all the guys say that, like that I've ever met along the way, and our clients as well, is that when they have some interactions with women, not necessarily the woman that they're in a relationship with, but just some interactions where there was a woman that they were speaking to, it opens up another door. It was like a hidden door that it was hidden from you, and you've just peeked in. And you think, oh, there's no way I'm going back through the other doors. Every guy says it. So yeah, it's the way it is.
David, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, for this story for the guys. I hope it was helpful, it was useful. And thank you for your trust in Heart Rocket. For us, it means a lot that you allow us to, not accommodate, to, how to say this, like
to assist
you on this way.
Absolutely. And I want to thank both you, Luba and Stryker, for giving me an opportunity. I never thought I would have an opportunity again to meet the type of lady that I was looking for. I still had to do the work. I still had to contact them, develop the relationship, but you guys make the meetings possible. Otherwise, how am I going to meet people from halfway around the world? I had no interest in going to the bars here in the U.S. or doing any of the Tinder or any of that. I knew none of that was going to work. But you make it very easy to meet a large number of potential compatible ladies very quickly, and I thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Guys, so everything is possible, and if you want to do it, if you want to try to find, not to try, if you want to find Eastern European ladies, give us a call and we will definitely guide you on this journey. Thank you for watching, and we see you in the next one.
See you later.